We're working our way through the Song of Songs, and we've covered some of the really exciting and heady stuff. In the first chapter, the beginning of this relationship, this love, this mutual delight in one another. And we saw last week how spring seems to celebrate our love. It just seems to come alongside us and say, boy, isn't it great to be in love? And just fills us with delight and joy, but there's no getting around the fact that love involves pain. There's no getting around the fact that when we love, we have opened the door to suffering. So I've titled today's message, Love Hurts, because it does. And I think that's one of the main themes that runs through the passage we're looking at today. We're going to be in Song of Songs, chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. And let me kind of catch us up with what's gone on so far. In the first chapter, we have kind of the beginning of this love as she kind of approaches him and expresses her love of him, and he responds in kind, and they're off to the races. She talks about them meeting during the daytime and is talking about building a home together, about a home made with cedar beams, something sturdy and beautiful. And she, this is in the very beginning of theirs. And we saw last week what happened. We moved to a second scene where she's at home with her friends, and he shows up jumping across the fields and floating on air. And he says, it's spring, the winter's over, it's time to go out into the countryside and let's just enjoy the beauty of spring together. It just seems like God put it there to make our love all that more enjoyable. Let's go out and enjoy it together. And then her friends speak a word of caution. They say, your love is young, and there are things that can ruin young love if you're not careful. There are little foxes that like to ruin vineyards and blossom. And then she responds to her friend's word of warning by saying, you know what, I love you, you love me, this is what we're building together. And because that is more important than what I would love to do right now, we should wait. It's not wise for us to run off alone into the countryside. So she sends him away. And that's kind of where we pick up now. She has sent him away. And I want you to kind of think about, if that were you, how would you feel about it? He came, he was so excited, he was just thrilled to see you and just wanted to see you and wanted to be with you. And you said, not today, and sent him away. Not only that, but you did it in front of your friends, which is kind of embarrassing. How would you feel as you went to bed that night about where your relationship stood? I suspect you would be a little worried. Should I have done that? Should I have sent him away? What's he going to do now? Is he going to take that as a rejection and maybe go off and find somebody more adventurous than me, somebody more willing to run out into the countryside with him? Have I blown it? What have I done? That's kind of where we pick up the story. And she tells us, on my bed by night. So I really believe that we enter now into a series of dream sequences. And some of them are nightmares. Some of them are the kind of dreams you don't ever want to end. Some of them are just wonderful dreams. But I think we enter into a section in the book of Song of Songs where she is describing kind of, what happens when you go to sleep is your brain, God designed our brains in such a way that we kind of defragment the hard drive at night, right? We go to sleep and your brain goes through all the stuff you put into it during the day and tries to make sense of it. And that's what we call dreaming. Your brain is kind of sifting through the experiences of the day. So I think in Song of Songs, we enter into a series of dreams that are kind of sifting through all that's going on in her heart and in her mind. This first one I would describe, at least in the beginning, as a nightmare. So she says, I'm on my bed by night. I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him. but found him not. And this is the idea. This is what was on her heart as she went to bed that night. Have I lost him? Did my words register with him as rejection? Did I wound his pride so that he now is not going to be interested in me anymore? And this plays out in her dream as she feels like she's lost him, and she is running out to try to find him, but no matter what she does, she doesn't seem to be able to find him. I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets and in the squares. I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. Have you ever had a dream like this, where you desperately needed to find something and you just couldn't find it? Or you desperately needed something and couldn't get to it? It's the typical long hallway dream. You keep running down the hallway and the hallway just keeps stretching further and further out. You're trying to run from the bear and your feet are stuck in the mud. You're trying to stop your car that's out of control, and for some reason your feet can't reach the brakes. It's that kind of dream. You're longing for something, you're desperate to find something, and you just can't. And that's what she's experiencing here. And this is the fear that drives the dream. What if I've lost love? What if exercising caution cost me love? What if I'm going to be alone, by myself? Have I blown it? And her heart is longing for that not to be so. And in this dream, it's a nightmare dealing with this very basic fear of having lost love. She's searching for him, can't find him anywhere. The watchmen found me as they went about in the city. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? There's an interesting kind of wordplay here. The word watchmen actually in the Hebrew is the ones who go about in the city. That's kind of the way the phrase is in the Hebrew. So she says, I'm going to go out in the city looking for him. She doesn't find him, but then the ones who are about in the city are the ones that find her. So the seeker is the one found, but she doesn't find the one she's seeking for. So she runs into these other people who find her, but that's not what she's looking for. She's looking for the one her soul loves. She's pursuing him. And she asks them with desperation, have you seen him whom my soul loves? I love the way she describes him. He's not just her cutie pie. She understands that what she's talking about here is not something superficial. It's not something born simply of self-interest. It's not playing. She's really put herself into this. She describes him as the one my soul loves. That's the kind of relationship she's talking about. That's the kind of relationship she wants to build. Not a skin deep one, not a superficial one, not simply one born of mutual interest, but one born of a core commitment to the other person. The one my soul loves. And there's this horrendous fear driving this dream that she's lost him somehow. Then the dream takes a very quick turn for the better. Scarcely had I passed them when I found him whom my soul loves. And it reads like a dream, doesn't it? She runs into these guys, asks them a question, and they're out of the scene before they even say anything. Isn't that kind of how our dreams work? Just kind of a bunch of snapshots of things that kind of progress from one to another. They appear, they're gone, and all of a sudden, she finds him. I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her who conceived me. I suspect Freud would have a lot to say about this. But in her dream, she finally finds him. And in the dream, there's this, you know how in dreams, there's this certainty with which you do things. You know what you're searching for, and when you find it, she grabs onto him. And in the dream, it's, I am never letting go of you again. And I'm putting you in my pocket, and I'm never losing you again. I've got a hold of you now. I'm not letting go. And in the dream, so fierce is this determination to never lose him again that she says, I'm just going to take you home with me. I'm never letting you go. So in the dream, she brings him back, and it's interesting to me how she describes where she takes him. She takes him back to her home, but she doesn't say, I brought him back to my home. She says, I brought him back into my mother's house. And not only that, she brings him into the bedroom, but she doesn't say my bedroom. She says, I bring him into the chamber of her who conceived me. In other words, her mother's bedroom. And I think if this is a dream, we should try to interpret the significance of these things. There is something about her mother that is important to her in this relationship. Some scholars suggest that she's talking about making wedding arrangements with her mother, and given that the next sequence in the story is a marriage scene, that could be a part of it. And in the ancient Near East and in ancient Israel, women really had a tremendous amount of influence in the home. I think that's why the biblical authors make the point of telling us who the mothers of all the kings of Israel were. Because they were the ones really who raised the kids. So and you have the whole idea even to this day of the yintel, the woman who kind of arranges marriages. So maybe she's talking about her mother sealing the deal, her mother being involved in setting wedding dates and that kind of thing. But she talks about being conceived by her mother. So yeah, there's this language of bedroom. She wants him in her bedroom, but it isn't just that I want to have sex. It's I want to build what my mother built. I want the kind of household that my mother has. I want a home like the home she brought me up in. And if our relationship can reach that point, it's like bringing it full circle. If I can bring it right back to the point where my very life originated with my mother, we've come full circle. I think this aspect of the dream is not just the idea of wanting to consummate their relationship, although clearly that thing runs through the whole book of Song of Songs. But it's more than just, I want to have sex. It's, I want to build what my mother had. I want to have the kind of home my mother had. I want to close that circle so that what she started when I was conceived continues on in my life. And we can continue the unbroken chain. In love, in this kind of love, look for people who've done it right. Look for people who've figured it out and who've built the kind of home you're envious of. Those are the models you want to be building your own love after. Those are the things you want to focus your own attention on. If you've been able to experience and build a solid home together with another person, you offer a tremendous help to those around you who are beginning to initiate themselves into this kind of pursuit. I think at this point, and this is the way I read it, I think you wonder who the woman is talking to as we start this chapter. She talks about going to sleep and all this happening, and we get to a point in the dream where it's getting a little racy. We're talking about bringing him into your bedroom or your mom's bedroom, and we're getting to this point, and I think this is a bit of a pause and an aside, and of course after this we're going to launch into another dream sequence, I think. But I think she's telling her dream to her friends, the daughters of Jerusalem. She's telling her friends what she's been wrestling with over the night. And she realizes, I've just said some things that might seem like I'm completely disregarding the caution they've been encouraging me to exercise. So I think she comes back and repeats the thing that she had said in the very beginning, in the first chapter. This is a refrain that is repeated throughout the book. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or the does of the field, that you not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. If there is a repeated theme in this book, it is that love is powerful and precious and a tremendous delight, but love is also something you can ruin. Love is fragile. And it takes some strength to build it. It takes some commitment to build it right. It takes some courage. It takes a willingness to endure some of the pain that comes with making the right decisions. Don't think that just because you do the right thing, you're not going to hurt. You're not going to doubt yourself. You're not going to question the consequences of what you're doing. But the repeated refrain is, don't rush it. Don't get ahead of it. Don't try to force it. Don't try to wake it up until it's right time. And the idea, I think, repeated throughout this book is love is a precious and glorious thing, but you need to do it right. By all that's holy, don't rush it. Push it. Don't jump ahead of yourself. And we talked about this last week. She's made this determination. She understands that there's this desire to consummate and to have this intimacy, but the place for that is after the wedding. The place for that is after the proper foundation has been laid for it, which is a commitment for life. We live in a culture that flat out disregards this. We live in a culture that tells us that this is foolish and backwards and doesn't work. I can tell you that it does work. I've tried it out myself. I'm 23 years into marriage. And because both my wife and I followed Christ when we entered into our relationship, and we understood His instructions to be this, we chose to live our lives that way. And I can say this with the experience of having tried it myself. The right way to do it is when you have reached the point in your life where you are able to and ready to enter into this commitment. You have laid the proper groundwork to build a home and a life together. That is the place for sex. And within that protection, this kind of love has the right setting to blossom and grow. We live in a culture that insists on cheapening sex and reducing it from a soul-binding act between a man and a woman to recreation, to something you do to stifle boredom, or to just enjoy yourself for a bit. And God intended so much more than that. And I want to encourage you to have the courage to try things God's way. We're going to sing a song of invitation. I think the principles of the passage we've been looking at today apply more broadly than just in marriage-headed relationships. Because we are called to love each other. We are called to love every one of us, even to love our enemies. And anytime we expose ourselves that way and we choose to seek the better of the other person, we open ourselves up to pain, because we enter into these relationships and friendships and these kinds of things where we are oftentimes pressured to exercise as love endorsement of something harmful, or complicity in something harmful. Young people, many times your friends will ask of you that. Lie to my parents. I want to spend the night with my boyfriend. Tell them I'm spending the night at your home. Give them your phone number so if they call you instead of your mom. Your friends will put you in those situations. And if you want to exercise true love, you will have the courage to say, I'm not going to hurt you that way. I'm not going to help you hurt yourself. And you know what? That can lead to some real pain in that relationship. Your friend might not treat you very nicely. Love hurts. Love costs us something. Love isn't just this kind of pat on the back and saying, do whatever you want to. God doesn't do that with us. Love pays the cost of pursuing the higher version of love, the one that actually results in something good for the other person. Our romantic relationships need to be entered into with this clear picture in mind, but every one of our relationships needs to be governed by the courage of actually exercising true love. I'm not sure what exactly God might put on your heart this morning, but you know the relationships in your life. You know if you're really loving those people in your life, or if you have been too weak. If you have caved, if you have fallen to the pressures and have truly, as you look at it, not been loving to the person you're thinking of. I want to invite you today to ask God for the courage to stand and do the right thing. For the courage to exercise genuine love. And yes, true love hurts, but you know what? The alternative is no better. Because living without true love also hurts. There's no escaping it. You can either have true love and pain or not have true love and pain. It's a no-brainer, really. Let's all stand. Whatever God may have put on your heart, come and pray with those who will be here at the front to pray with you as we sing. Reuben and Jackie, could you help me? And Steve and Patty, come while we sing.